recording studio, and the state had them make 5 or 6 copies, and they returned the original to me that day in person at my home. I ended up being state's evidence against the attorney. I was there for 2 days, and my attorney, the original attorney that owned the law firm, I found was falsifying client signatures and or signatures from insurance companies, and he was having all of his office workers do it, but none of them had the guts to tell him no. I suppose they were being threatened with termination or whatever, but the Lawyers Responsibility Board, at the end of the trial, after my ex-attorney admitted to the tape recording, who was on the tape recording and what was said, I was the last witness. The judge threw his gavel down and told my attorney not to go back to his office and collect any of his information, not to contact anybody, and the state would be going to his office, I believe, and collecting all his information. His office was closed, and he was disbarred at that moment. And the lawyer, Patrick Burns, at the Lawyers Professional Responsibility Board, said, well, you might have not have won your work comp case, but at least you got the satisfaction that you got an attorney disbarred. And to me, that's no satisfaction on my part, because here 20 years later, I'm in the same boat, if not worse. I went from being a married man with a family and working and having a normal life to a life of poverty and just a lot of negativity from lawyers, from doctors, not too much from doctors, but from politicians, and it's taken its toll on me. Since I've been on my own and divorced, holidays, vacations are non-existent. I see other people going to clinics with their husbands or wives, and that upsets me that I can't have that. Going on vacations, I can't afford that. My condition now, after the second hip replacement, it's still going up to the VA Medical Center because I've only been on Social Security disability for a short period of time, and that hasn't progressed the way it should, and I don't have supplemental insurance. The doctors that I've seen up at the VA Medical Center have diagnosed me almost year after year with another ailment. I've got water retention in both legs from the knees down. I've got chronic nerve neuropathy in both feet. One toe on the bad leg pops, and I was told it was a gas bubble, and that was over a year ago. It's not a gas bubble. I don't know what it is. They had given me injections of steroids into my right hip, and at the VA Medical Center I had injections, and they started out with short needles and longer needles and longer needles to get at the implant, the femoral head, and that took a bit of time, and the injections and or the steroids did not work. Within 4 hours I was back to hurting and being in misery. And a couple weeks later I was back up at the VA Medical Center, and one of the doctors that had performed this procedure seen me in the hallway, and he asked how the injections worked, and I says, within 4 hours, I says it wore off, and he says, we didn't think it'd work, but we tried it anyhow. So that's more experimentation. I've had a lot of negative responses from the county, state, and federal government. I was state's evidence against this attorney, and they got what they wanted, but yet they failed again to help me out, knowing all the facts and having the same information that I have, but failing to respond to it and help me out as a citizen of the state of Minnesota and or a veteran. I have, well, the Department of Human Rights, when I filed my charge of discrimination, told me that I was very credible with my evidence and facts. The Lawyers Professional Responsibility Board in the disbarment trial against my attorney told me I was very factual and credible. I had Senator Pat and review the information that was a single word that you say and that you've been slammed back and forth year after year. Then I asked, what can I do? And she suggested I go to the House and Senate Claims Commission. They might be able to help me out. That is the same commission that down it was a tragedy. The 35W bridge the state knew had problems and they didn't warn the people. They did not, in my opinion, fix the bridge properly and or on time. When the bridge went down, there were all over the United States, there were politicians coming from all over the United States, and there was a thorough investigation. Never been an investigation. I've never had a QRC. The will not enact on any of these issues. When I told the judge what was going on and her comments, they should have acted. The Minnesota Department of Labor and Industry. The state should have acted when I filed a suit of harassment by disability, and they found that I was